All right, all right, all right.
Oh, Christ.
How you doing?
That's Matthew McConaughey, 28 years ago, playing Wooderson in Dazed and Confused. He's now an Oscar winner, an author, a husband and dad to 3 kids. And today, Matthew McConaughey is here live. Yeah. There he is.
Howdy, howdy.
Yes, buddy, to talk about his book, Greenlights. Welcome to DBL. And Matthew, I gotta ask you, how often do people say that iconic line from Dazed and Confused to you? And does it drive you just a little bit crazy or no?
No, it doesn't drive me crazy. It actually precedes me wherever I go. I hear it a lot. I've seen it tattooed in very odd places. Even teacups to call to the previous conversation. I've seen it everywhere, but it doesn't bother me because those are the very first 3 words I said in the summer of 1992 on the very first scene of the very first night I got to act in my life. Wow. I didn't know if that was going to be one night in the summer of 92 I got to work and go, hey, I remember that one time I got to act. That was the beginning of what turned into a career 30 years later that I love. So when people say it, it's a callback to how I began. I like it.
Beautifully said. So speaking of Dazed and Confused, is it true, I mean, I read your book, but to our viewers out there, is it true that you sort of stumbled into that role?
I would say sort of stumbled, meaning I did not wake up the morning that I met the casting director, Don Phillips, at the top of the Hyatt in Austin, Texas, which is the bar I met him at. I didn't wake up that morning thinking, tonight I know I'm going to go find the guy who's in town casting a movie. I happened to go to the right bar at the right time, introduce myself. Later on, about 3 hours later, he asked if I'd ever done any acting. I said I was in a Miller Lite commercial for like this long and a Trisha Yearwood video for like this long. And he goes, you might be right for the part. Come to this address, pick up the script. I did. I got the part. 3 lines turned into 3 weeks' work. Some things definitely fell in front of me and good fortune happened and I did the best I could.
That's an incredible story. That is insane. Now, there's something you and I have in common, Matthew. I heard your very first role was on Unsolved Mysteries. You got shot.
Yes.
I got shot in the boob on CSI Miami and I got my SAG card. Wow. And I heard that's what happened with Matthew.
That may have been where I got it. I do remember this. 2 weeks after the episode that I was in, they caught the guy. So I felt like, oh, I did such a great job.
I did it. That's hilarious. It's hilarious. That's funny.
Matthew, I loved your book, Greenlights, and your honesty, your optimism, and even your vulnerability is something I truly admire as a person. Where did all that come from? Was it a culmination of all of your life experiences? But how did you get that way at such a young age?
Sure. Well, I've been keeping a diary and journal since I was 14 years old. So I finally got the courage to go get 36 years of journaling and take it away to the desert on my own and see what the hell I had. And it's what was there, you know, and I decided to just be as honest and transparent as possible in things that I went through, the good, the bad, the beautiful, and the ugly, and lay it all out there. And hopefully people are seeing their stories in mine and seeing themselves in me. And we're all seeing how, hey, we're all on this big rodeo called life together trying to get our 8 seconds.
I love that.
I dig it. Now,
where is he, by the way? Can we ask you where you are? Are you in a trailer? Are you in a rocket ship? Yeah, where is this?
Very close. This particular trailer is called the Smithsonian. I have 4 Airstreams. This is my crown jewel, and I use it as my office. We got I think a world map over here, galley on the right. So this is in my backyard. I'm in my trailer. This is my 36-foot Airstream.
That's a rodeo.
That's a good look, man. And first of all, before we go any further, this is Al here. I go by Al. Do you prefer Matt or Matthew?
Oh, we can answer that. If you read his book, you can answer that. We know. Your mom didn't want you compared to a doormat, right?
I got my first butt whooping for answering to Matt. Yeah. So I answered to Matt.
That's what's up. Yeah, because, you know, my full name's Albert, but if you call me Albert, I know you know me from the old school, but all my friends and people that know me from comedy call me Al. So sometimes you have different names for, like, different places in your life. So that's interesting. No butt whoopings now. You're doing well.
No, I don't know. My mom's over there on the porch.
I love her.
She's still, you know, she's still the mother. She'll come over here at 90 years old and said, what'd you answer to? I named you Matthew for a reason, boy.
I love it. You're never famous to your mama. That's beautiful. Now, you know, my favorite rapper, without a doubt, is Jay-Z, and he has a song called You Gotta Learn to Live with Regrets. And I wonder, did that apply to you when you took a big risk in saying no to doing romantic comedies and the big paycheck that goes with it? Now, you had a lot of success doing rom-coms, and then you won an Oscar. So is there a movie that you passed on that you now kind of regret?
Well said, Al.
Well, for the 2 years after romantic comedies, when I decided to take off from rom-coms, which I was doing very well on those, I received no offers but rom-coms. So after a while, I just quit reading them and ask my agent to just say no. I'll go back earlier in my career, though. Right after A Time to Kill, I did get offered a role in L.A. Confidential. You remember that? The late Curtis Hanson directed that. Yeah. And I passed. And if there's one movie I've got in my career that I look at and I go, ooh, I'd have liked to have been in that. Yeah. It would have been L.A. Confidential.
Interesting.
Great movie.
Maybe time for reboot.
Guy Pearce, very good movie.
So you write a lot about your family in Greenlights. By the way, I have my copy of the book. Love it. Your parents had a sometimes volatile relationship. They were divorced twice, married 3 times, but they did have a lot of passion for each other, a lot of love. So what's something, Matthew, from their marriage that you've tried to emulate or avoid in yours?
Oh. Well, Camilla and I don't like as rocky of a relationship as my mom and dad had. Like I said, they were divorced twice, married 3 times. I don't think we need to go through that to come out and say we did it like my mom and dad did. But that's how they communicated. You know, one thing they practice, which we try to practice in our family, is never go to bed with a grudge. No matter if you're upset with you go to bed with a kiss and a hug goodnight. Whether it's the kids, whether it's me, whether it's Camilla, you don't go to bed with a grudge. We're going to hash it out right now. We're going to forgive it. We're going to forget it. And tomorrow morning, we're going to start anew. You know, it's a challenge in all relationships. What do you need to really sit down and have a long discussion on? And what do you need to just look at and go, you know what? I was in a bad mood. Forget that. Let's just move on. My mom and dad were very good at not holding grudges upon each other. And also sense of humor in their relationship and with each other was really important. And I witnessed a lot of that. I witnessed them laugh things off that instead of making a big deal of certain things, which was healthy for their relationship, which I try to maintain in mine.
Matthew, first I want to wish you a happy Father's Day. It's around the corner. You're the father of 3 beautiful children. But I got to tell you a quick story.
Yes.
Before I left this morning, I go to my kids. I have a 2- and a 4-year-old. And my wife was very impressed that we were interviewing Matthew McConaughey. My kids not so much. And I go, do you know who Matthew McConaughey is? That's Buster Moon. Now I'm the coolest dad in Colorado.
Buster.
I gotta tell you that. So thanks for that. My kids love you. We love you. And but I got to get to your father though. He did.
That's the only way my kids know that their dad's in the movies because of Buster Moon. They hadn't seen any of the other stuff.
Kids love it. Kids love it. But unfortunately, Matthew, your father passed away before you achieved success in Hollywood. How does he continue to inspire you? Because you talk so much about him in your book.
Yeah. Well, work ethic. He was a great. I miss him because he would have loved working on scripts and characters with me. He would have loved that. There's some serendipity in his passing away. He was not alive for me to see my success that I took on in the career of acting, but he lived 5 days into my first role. And I've always seen that as a really graceful timing, that my father was alive during the time that I found what would be my life's passion, during the time I found what would be more than a hobby, during the time that I found what would be a career that I would take on. So I always felt like that was very graceful, divine timing, that he lived and overlapped me finding what I wanted to do. I have conversations with him all the time, spiritually, and talk to him like he's around here. I miss him. He would have really enjoyed breaking down scripts, talking about stories, and talking story with me.
Yeah, wow. I feel you. My father's passed away as well, so I definitely I understand where you're coming from. We're starting to see that you're posting videos from, Emmanuel Acho, Guy Fieri, about just values that fathers pass on to their sons. Is there anything that really stuck with you? Because I remember one of the things that my father gave to me was he just told me that your kids are the most important thing you'll ever do. And at the point I was starting to, I'd had a half-hour comedy special and was starting to have other things going on in my life. And I realized now that all I care about in the world is my kids. There's not even a number 2. So how does that apply to your life?
Well, as you know, you have children, no matter how good your career's going or whatever's going, that becomes the number 1 priority. That becomes it. That's our legacy. What greater responsibility and privilege do we have in the world than to be the best fathers we can be? That's that's what we leave behind, hopefully. And hopefully they have offspring and leave. And, you know, we become fathers. In a way, we become immortal in this way. I can leave, you know, permanent objects like movies and books behind, but we leave our children.
Yep.
You want to know somebody, what they were like, look at their children, get to know their children. And it's always been, I've always dreamed of being a father. It's been the only thing I ever knew I wanted to do since I was 8 years old. And I find it is the most awesome, responsible privilege in the world for me now. And hopefully I'm doing this as good as I can.
It's all that matters. It really is. And before we go, Matthew, I have to share with you that your book has really impacted my brother-in-law, Eric Dellenbach, who's known now in the medical community as the sickest COVID patient to survive. So he's been in the hospital, Matthew, for 5 months now, recently had to get a double lung transplant because of COVID. He's having a hard time, and your book has been a huge source of motivation for him to keep going. Could you share some words of encouragement for Eric?
Beautiful, Eric. Hey, just keep living, man. I mean, we all have these circumstances, and it's not about what's fair or not about what we deserve or not. You know, life deals us different hands at different times, and we got two ways we can look at it. We can sit there and battle through and look around at our nearest loved ones around us and love them even more and let ourselves be loved by them even more. But deal with it day to day. It'll all. I got my hunch is all the hardships will make sense one day, either in this life or the next one. If we can trust in that and have hope and look immediately around at the people in the hearts that love us, and just turn up the notch on that, on letting you being able to receive that love and also being able to give it out. And that's, I think, as good as we can do.
Beautifully said.
Amen to that, brother. Keep it up.
Beautifully said. Thank you, Matthew, for that. Your book is, like I said.
Got the whole panel crying up here.
Yeah. You guys have to check out Greenlights, because let me tell you, like I said, not only has it helped me, Jeff, but also my brother-in-law. It is out now. Trust me, you got to find it on Amazon, wherever books are sold. Get yourself a copy. You can also pre-order your very own Greenlights journal. Find out all the details at greenlights.com.
Also, that audio version, Matthew, killed it. Loved it.
Matthew, we appreciate you more than you know. You're amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a great day, honey.
Great talking to you. Happy Father's Day, everyone out there. Enjoy it. See you in the next one. Let's do the best we can.
Yes. Thank you,
Thanks,
Matthew.
brother.
Thank you.